Hi, you have a goal to find ancestors' names and share them with the temple. This video will show you how to accomplish that great goal. I'm Sean Humphreys, a temple and family history consultant in the Panhandle of Texas. I'll show you two tasks. First, how to find ancestors' names who need their temple ordinances using Descendants with tasks on the Family Tree phone app. And second, I'll show you how to share those names with the temple for temple proxy work. I assume you have an understanding of what temples are and what temple proxy work is. If not, please visit churchofjesuschrist.org/temples for that foundational understanding of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Okay, this is the Family Tree app, and you can get this app from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and download it for free. And when you press the app, it comes up with your family tree. You may have a login screen, a sign in. So sign in with your account. If you don't have an account yet, you can create an account for free or see a local temple family history consultant to help you with that. I'm assuming you have an account. So it brings you to your tree here and shows you, and you can zoom in and out by pinching and expanding and see. But what we're going to do is we're going to move up the tree to find an ancestor from about 1750 and then use Descendants with tasks, which is a feature on the phone Family Tree app. It's only available on the phone app. It's not available on FamilySearch.org. That's why we're using Family Tree. So you scroll up, you just slide up the tree, listen to the Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will guide you where you should traverse in your tree and start. And we want to find somebody from about the 1750s, so press the arrow here, and that will expand out your tree. If you do not have anybody in your tree yet, then your task then would be to start adding your ancestors with your parents and your grandparents and such. And there's a separate video for that, but I'm assuming that you have people in your tree already. So here we found somebody from around the 1750s, 1770 plus or minus, and here this Ancestor Joseph Wilkinson. So I press on his name, and what I am going to do to find Descendants with tasks is up in the top right corner, there's a 3-dotted button. This is an Android phone, so your menu may be across the bottom. That's okay. You'll have 3-dotted menus here like this too. So press your 3-dotted menu, and there is Descendants with tasks. Press Descendants with tasks, and then change from 3 generations to 5 generations. And what that does is it finds all of the ancestors from Ancestor Joseph Wilkinson here to modern times, 5 generations. And it shows you anybody's name in that tree who needs some type of a task. I'll quickly explain these icons. The yellow means there needs more information. The blue icons means that there are record hints that are available, for example, birth certificate or marriage certificate or something. And this green icon here, that means that the ordinances are ready. This name qualifies and needs temple ordinances. So if I press that green icon here, then it comes up and shows me these individuals that need their ordinances. Now, what do these icons mean? Well, here the green icons mean ordinances are ready, this person qualifies. B for baptism, C for confirmation, I for initiatory, E for endowment, SS for sealing to spouse, and SP is for sealing to parents. And so you see here that these two individuals need their temple ordinances. And you can press these little buttons here to select or deselect. We're going to leave them there. But you can explore these names too a little bit. So I'm going to click on Martha's name here. And then I can just read, okay, well, she died in the United States. Here's her spouse and when she was married. Get to know your ancestors a little bit. These are wonderful people that lived and had lives. And these are your ancestors. Here I can look at sources and slide over. I'm sliding from the right to the left. That's how I'm changing from these different tabs here. And you can see that here I can request these ordinances. So I'm going to press Request Family Names. That's this right there. Request family names brings me back to this menu. I'm now going to press continue. Continue then presents this, do I agree to the church temple ordinance policies? Please read this so that you know what you're agreeing to, but basically it means that we're doing work for our ancestors in our families, and if they've been born in the last 110 years, that we have permission from a close living relative. So yes, I agree, and I'm going to press, so I check that little box, the little check box, I have read and comply. And I'm now going to press Add to Reserve Family Names. And it reserves Martha and her husband, and it put those names into my temple list. Now I can see my temple list by the 3-lined button. Again, it's on the top left-hand side. For an Android phone, it might be on the bottom. Excuse me, for an iPhone, it's along the bottom, or an Android, it's in the top left. So the 3-lined menu, and then I'm going to press on Temple. And Temple lets me see all of the names that I have reserved. These are my families, my family ancestors, and I am now going to share them with the temple. So why do I want to share them with the temple? Well, because I have more temple ordinances, ancestors that need their ordinances than I can go myself to the temple. I mean, when I go, I can print out one of these names and take the name to the temple, do the ordinances on their behalfs, and they have the choice on the other side of the veil to accept that ordinance or not. And that's why we do temple ordinances. But in this case, I have more names. You saw that list. I have more names that need ordinances than I personally can go to the temple. So that's why I am going to I'm going to press the circle here, and I'm going to share these 2 names with the temple. And you see that a menu choice came up to the bottom. Take names to the temple, that would print them out. But I'm going to choose share. And I encourage you to share names with the temple because there's way more work than individually we can do. So I press share, and then I'm going to say share with the temple. And I get to pick and choose which ordinances I want to share, because I may want to choose some of them to do myself and share the others. But in this case, I'm going to press all of the circles because I want to share all these ordinances with the temple. And that means then that somebody at the temple, at some temple in the world, somebody is going to, a proxy person at the temple may receive these names and then can do the temple ordinances as if I were there. And so I'm going to, now that I've selected which ones to share with the temple, I'm going to press share with the temple. And I say OK. And now these individuals have been shared with the temple. And I can press the button over here, shared with the temple, and I see that there they are, right there. If I need to, I can unshare them. If I all of a sudden I want to do that name, I want to go to the temple myself for William, I could press unshare and print it out and go to the temple myself for William. But in this case, I'm teaching you how to share, and I'm encouraging you to share as many names with the temple as you can, because if you follow these steps, you will find hundreds of ancestors in your family tree that need their temple ordinances. Okay, so, now what do? We shared one name, we found and shared one name, what do? We repeat the process. So I come over here to, I press that 3-lined button and I press tree, and then I press recent. So how do I get back to where I was? Up at the top right corner, there's this little family icon. It looks like 2 people there. I press that, and it allows me to go back to the person I started with, which was Assel Joseph Wilkinson. So I press his name, and now I'm back to him around the 1750s, and I can press the 3-dotted button in the top right and choose Descendants with Tasks, change to 5 generations, and I continue through this list looking for green temple icons that I can then reserve and share with the temple. So now look here. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the challenges that happen when we're working with this. So for example, here I have two different icons. I have one which is a green temple icon and another which is a green temple icon with a little circle on it. What does that little circle mean? Well, if you press, I'm going to choose John G. Wilkinson Jr. I'm going to press the little icon there. And you notice here it has the little SS and sealing to spouse with a little clock above it. What does that clock mean? Well, it means that somebody else has already shared this name with the temple, some other family member. And so the temple, this name is already in the queue of the temple. So I don't need to do that. I'm going to skip these because my purpose is to find green temple icons that family members that are not yet in the queue at the temple. So this one I don't need to worry about. I'll just go backwards. If you want, you could reserve this, print it out, and you have 90 days to complete it, or it will be shared with the temple automatically again. But you know, I'm looking for, that's already shared with the temple. I'm looking for names like, let's look at James B. Wilkinson. I press the little green temple icon, and there Mary needs her ordinances. But here's one of the other problems that you run into. You see where it says view duplicates? So that means there are duplicate records of Mary in the computer system. And so it has to be merged together, and I have to investigate. It's a complicated process. For right now, skip those. Don't worry about any merged duplicates until you learn how to do those. There's another video for how to do that. So I'm just going to go back to my list here and just keep going through my list. Thomas A. Wilkinson. Let's press the green icon. And there I have some more duplicates. I'm just going to skip those and continue down the list. So that is what I mean by sometimes the names are already shared with the temple, like these, or sometimes they have duplicates and you'll just skip those. So continue through this process and you'll find green temple icons and names to reserve for your family. And or you can then watch some of the other videos on how to clean up some of these duplicate problems, or how to find more information for yellow icons and things.
That's it. Thank you for learning how to quickly find and share names with the temples. Enjoy!